Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikam. Hare Krishna, reading from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, shloka number 29. We don't so this is told to me in the last one, so we don't have the display there. Prakrite guna samudava Sajjante guna karmasu Dana kritsna vidomandan Kritsna vinna vichalayet Prakrite guna samudava Sajjante guna karmasu Dana kritsna vidomandan Kritsna vinna vichalayet Prakrite guna samudava Sajjante guna karmasu Dana kritsna vidomandan Kritsna vinna vichalayet. Would you like to repeat? Anyone? You can try repeating. Prakrite guna sammuda Sajjante guna karmasu Tana kritsna vidhomandan Kritsna vinna vichalayet. Word meanings? Prakrite of material nature. Guna by the modes. Samudaha befooled by material identification. Sajjante, they become engaged. Gunakarmasu, in material activities. Tan, those. Akritsnaviddaha, persons with a poor fund of knowledge. Mandan, lazy to understand self-realization. Kritsnavid, one who is in factual knowledge. Na, not. Vichalayet, should try to agitate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to performers' lack of knowledge. Purport. Persons who are unknowledgeable falsely identify with gross material consciousness and are full of material designations. This body is a gift of the material nature, and one who is too much attached to the bodily consciousness is called manda, or a lazy person without understanding of the spirit soul. Ignorant men think of the body as a self. They accept bodily connections with others as kinship. The land in which the body is obtained is their object of worship, and they consider the formalities of religious rituals to be ends in themselves. Social work, nationalism, and altruism are some of the activities for such materially designated persons. Under the spell of such designations, they are always busy in the material field. For them, spiritual realization is a myth, and so they are not interested. Those who are enlightened in spiritual life, however, should not try to agitate such materially engrossed persons. Better to prosecute one's own spiritual activities silently. Such bewildered persons may be engaged in such primary moral principles of life as non-violence and similar material benevolent work. Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the facts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. Om Ajnanatamirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansya Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadotam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dheena Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaskate Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyev Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, I just want to know how many of you have actually gone through the Bhagavad Gita as it is? How many of you are new to this? You're all new. Are you all new to this? Or you've been reading. Okay. So, if you all haven't followed until now, so in the previous slokas, Krishna has described the behavior and the consciousness, the characteristics of a person who is bewildered by the three modes of material nature. If you all don't know the three modes of material nature, you can say, you know the three modes of material nature. Right? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. So these are three modes of material nature. And people in this material world who are bewildered by these. People who do not have spiritual consciousness, they are bewildered by these three modes of material nature, and they are caught up in the cycle of birth and death. Once again, once they go through this entire life, then according to their activities in this life, their next body is chosen, and they have to fulfill the karma of that particular life. So these are known as ignorant people or agnya, as in the previous verses we get to know that Krishna tells that these people are ignorant or also known as agnya. And Krishna says that such people are completely engaged in these activities and they are entangled in them. They are not able to escape from this cycle of birth and death. It's a huge struggle for them to get out of this. Until they get the spiritual knowledge that Krishna has given, it is impossible for them to come out of the circle of birth and death. And so they are continuously attached to these activities and stuck in this material world. And he also describes, consequently after that, he described the characteristics of the one who is knowledgeable or Vedavid. So they don't engage themselves in sense gratification because they know the difference between material activities and devotional service. So they take up, the knowledgeable people take up to devotional service. And most importantly, Krishna also explained that this is all due to the influence of, he emphasized from the start, he has been emphasizing on the importance of understanding the three modes of material nature. It is this reason, the three modes of material nature, which is why we are stuck in this world of birth, death, old age and disease. We have no solution to this. Only when a person takes up to the process of devotional service, when they dedicate their life to the service of the Lord, will they be able to overcome this cycle of birth and death. So coming to this verse, a very nice verse where Krishna tells us what the mood should be when we deal with such ignorant people. So now Krishna is describing the person in knowledge, how such a person deals with the ignorant people. He says that the wise must never disturb the ignorant people. We must never unsettle these ignorant people because they're very slow and they're quite lazy in trying to understand this knowledge of self-realization. They do not want to accept this knowledge of self-realization. They don't want anything to do with God realization and trying to understand the soul and what is the purpose of the soul, what is the relationship of man with God. So they don't want to be a part of this, they don't want this knowledge, and which is why we try not to disturb such people. That is what Krishna tells us. But there's a deeper meaning to this. Prabhupada has clearly explained to us what is the importance of this knowledge that Krishna is trying to give us. So Krishna tells, don't disturb them. Let them do what they are doing. Just in any way, if it's possible for you to give them some, get them engaged in some good activities, you can do that. So the essence of this entire shloka is that those who are knowledgeable must not go to the ignorant and try to unsettle them. Don't go telling them that why are you taking up to such unfavorable false work, and why don't you renounce your present work and take up to devotional work. Okay, so that's the essence is that don't approach these people with that mood. Take another route which is favorable for them. The ignorant they are not qualified to renounce this kind of ignorant work of theirs. They are not qualified. So we must not try to engage them. So we're always worried, like people of this age, we're always worried about our current designations and our positions. We are all overly inflated by, we have a very overly inflated mentality. And there's a saying, everyone wants to be at the back of the church, at the front of the queue, and the center of attraction. So this is the mentality of the people. When it comes to religious knowledge, they want to be at the back. When it's the front of the queue for something of some gain, they want to be in the front, and people want to be the center of attraction. So it's a very nice quote by one of the Maharaj that we have here at ISKCON. So we're only worried about our enjoyments and what benefits that we can extract from this material world. We believe that this world revolves around us. That's one of the misconceptions that we have, that the entire world is revolving around us. And there's a very nice quote that for the first 20 years we are worried about what people think about us, and then the next 20 years we understand that no one is we don't worry about what people think about us, and then at the end of life we understand that no one was really thinking about us. So that's a very nice thing to meditate upon. People really don't think about us, and so that's why it's important that we focus on the goal of life. And Krishna, this Bhagavad Gita that we have, the greatest gift that this world has got is explain this fact that our position is something else, that as we go deeper into the Bhagavad Gita we will understand our true position. So the wise men must engage such ignorant people in activities that will help them gain the knowledge of self-realization. The biggest misconception that this world has is that once this body is vanquished, once this body ends, then that's the end of everything. It's a very famous quote, YOLO, you only live once. It's a very common phrase that goes around usually in the college students. You only live once, so go to live life to the extremes, live a hard life, rash life, and just enjoy life. So that's something that when I was in college, something that people used to say this. There's only one life, so live the best, live a king's life. So they say like enjoy the world just like it's an ice cream. Enjoy it before it melts. So that's the misconception that the people have. We have to perfect our activities, only then we will be able to escape from the miseries of the next life. Because that's what Krishna is trying to tell us. So hence we must try to avoid doing nonsense and perfect this birth that we've got, because this birth is the greatest gift that we've got. This human life that we have, it's the greatest gift. That's why it's known as what we have now is a present. It's a present. It's a gift that we've got, and we must make the best out of it. So in reality, what the world is going through is just selfishness. Selfishness means we just trying to maintain our body and maintaining the body of those who are related to this body of us. So such people, when they're born in a particular place, they consider that place where they are born as holy, and everything related to that place also as holy. That's what Prabhupada is trying to tell us here, that when we're born in a place, we consider that place of us as holy, without understanding that we have come from the spiritual world, and that is the holy place, and that's why we have to go back. And people consider this, and they get attached to the place, attached to the people here, and they work in that direction, trying to help benefit themselves and benefit the people who are attached to their body. They only worry about how to progress materially, how to do better sense gratification, and how to use this body for enjoying to the maximum. So that's the mentality of the people of this age. So people cannot think beyond this body. Like I said, people's activities are all revolving around this body that they have. They're only worried about how to maintain and how to maintain their own body and to maintain the body of their loved ones. So bewildered, and we spoke about the bewilderment by the three modes of material nature, because they believe themselves to be the doer of all the activities, without understanding that even everything that happens in this world is sanctioned by the Lord, and they think that all my loved ones also have to be maintained by me. I am the maintainer of everyone around me. So that's the extent to which people go to in this age. So we try to engage these people in activities, good activities, by which they can develop some sukriti or pious credits, by which they can come closer to the process. But we see that to develop interest in something, you have to invest some time in it. Like if you want to play an instrument, you have to give it some time. You have to keep playing, and then once you get good at it, you can play it with ease. For example, take a relationship. You want to build a good relationship with someone, you have to invest time in that person. You have to give some time, and then when they understand that, okay, you are there, you consider them as important, then eventually your relationship gets more stronger. But we see people of this age are always engaged in unnecessary activities, and from morning to night, every single day they're engaged in nonsense activities. They're so busy that they have no time for themselves. Forget about giving time for their own self. They have no time for understanding the Paramatma, who's the most important thing. The super soul who's present in the body, he's the most important thing that we have. But he's got no time for the Paramatma. He's got no time for others. He's just worried about his own sense gratification. So here at ISKCON, you must have seen a lot of our devotees going out, trying to meet people, bringing them to these classes like these, bringing them for the festivals and seminars. We try to bring these people from outside, try to make them understand the importance of this knowledge of self-realization. But they have the same excuse: morning to evening, I'm working like a donkey, I have no time. So that's the excuse that everyone has. So this is a pitiful situation of the people of this age. Some even think that this miserable life is normal. They think this world that we have is normal. And when they see us, they be like, can't you people just act normal? So, but we are people, we understand that spiritual knowledge is important, and that's why we don't want to be normal. We don't want to be normal. We don't want to be like them, and that is why we listen to the instruction that Krishna has given us. So that is why those who are enlightened in spiritual life, they are asked to continue the spiritual activities of theirs silently. Silently. That's what Prabhupada says, without disturbing the ignorant people. But he also gives a way in which we can engage them slowly. It's like a jar in which we are continuously filling marbles. Like little by little, we keep giving them good credits, Ajnata Sukriti. We give them pious credits by which they can fill the jar. Once the jar gets filled to an extent when it has enough Sukriti, then they are eligible to take the path of spiritual self-realization. So even if we want to help them, we may not talk to them about self-realization directly. We may initially talk about topics like non-violence, social work, charity, philanthropic work, ways in which we can help people of this world. We initially talk about such topics, the ways in which organizations like these can help people around the world. And according to interest, we discuss in which way they can perform these activities. So the principle is followed by people who are a little self-realized. People who are a little self-realized, they can take up this path where they can instill a little bit of faith in this process, and then they can instill some sukriti in them. But the devotees of Krishna, they are different. What do? Doesn't matter whether the world is ignorant, doesn't matter the world is knowledgeable. Krishna devotees, they are out on the streets every day, distributing books, distributing spiritual knowledge, distributing prasadam. That's what we're known for, prasadam. So our devotees are out there on the streets, distributing all the knowledge, all the prasadam, everything that is required for people to attain self-realization. So that's what our devotees do. They keep their own interests inside, and they go out to instill faith in the Lord and faith in this concept of this principle of self-realization and God-realization. Krishna consciousness is all about talking to people about Krishna, trying to make these people Krishna consciousness. Because this is the goal of life, Krishna consciousness, to understand that the Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He's the one who's created us. He's our Father, and our job is to render service unto Him. And that's what our job is, to teach these people. Our devotees have, made it a mission to go to every corner of the world and get this message out there. So by engaging these, in frustration, Krishna may say, like, if you go through this shloka, you'll understand that Krishna says, don't unsettle these people, don't disturb them. But the devotees are different. They know Krishna's heart. They know that Krishna actually wants these people to go back. Krishna wants them to go back. But then Krishna says, it's fine. They don't want to, develop interest in this knowledge that I want to give them. But then devotees are not like that. They will go out every day and disturb every soul and tell them about Krishna, tell them about how to engage in Krishna service. So by engaging these people in the service of Krishna, these ignorant people get the opportunity to transcend from this mode of ignorance and become Vedaved, they become knowledgeable. And we see that devotees of Krishna are, from this we understand that Krishna devotees are more merciful than Krishna. Krishna tells, don't go disturb them. But devotees are, no. You are everything for us, and we will do anything possible to bring you to bring these souls who are struggling back to you. So that's the mode of the devotee. We see the compassion that these devotees have. So by engaging these ignorant people in service of Krishna, these ignorant people, we are able to raise them from the platform of ignorance to the mode of goodness, and then eventually transcend to a spiritual platform. So just by taking up this Prasa Krishna consciousness, their previous life is finished. Like we see that they just take one step into this temple, sit for a few classes, understand the importance, and that's it. That's the end of that previous life of theirs. You can't leave, because it's like Krishna consciousness. One of the Maharaj is like, Krishna consciousness is just like the mafia. The mafia, the gang. Once you get in, you cannot get out, because you know too much. In a mafia, you know too much of knowledge, so you come out, they may kill you. So, but Krishna consciousness is a place, you know so much about self-realization that you know that world out there is something that is unnecessary. And you understand that Krishna consciousness is what is most important to this living entity, this human life that we have. And so you would never want to leave that this process of Krishna consciousness. All you have to do is just come visit the temple, listen to such classes, read some books that the acharyas have given, have some prasad, do some kirtan. It's a very simple process. You must be knowing. Just dance, have prasadam. You all must be knowing this. Right? That's what we do, and it's a short method to go back to Godhead. So what more do you want? Eat, dance, sing, glorify the Lord. It's a very jolly process, and that's what the Acharya says. Just take up this process, and you can perfect your life. But this process of giving knowledge to the ignorant people out there, it is not that easy. So we cannot push everyone with the lack of knowledge to suddenly renounce that previous life of theirs that they have. It is not possible for those, especially for those who are completely, they have no knowledge. It is very hard to shake them. So therefore, we must engage them. Like I said, the filling of the jar, little by little, Ajnata Sukriti, we give them little by little, a little bit of Sukriti by which they can take up this process. Eventually, someday they will. So somehow or other, we assure that these people are, taking up some initial step towards self-realization. So the wise will engage the ignorant people in activity that will help them attain some knowledge, some spiritual knowledge. That's what we do. Little by little, we keep giving people knowledge by which they can come to this platform. So we need to see where people are and provide the steps that are relevant for them. Every person may be at a different stage in life. So we know about the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas. Everyone is at a different stage in life. So first we understand what is relevant for them, and accordingly we give the knowledge. So that is also most important. We engage these people and then understand what they're going in their life, and according to what they want, the immediate solution, we accordingly give that. Our acharyas have given all the information that is required to instill Krishna consciousness in every form of living entity that is out there. And we are able to deliver every living entity out there. If it's an animal also, you give it some prasadam and you can deliver that animal. If it's some human being, you can give them spiritual knowledge, you can give them prasadam, and have them engage in some way or the other in which they can develop Sukriti. So rather we present Krishna in such a way that people can relate to them. So we must find some topic of Krishna consciousness by which they can relate to. So from Krishna's perspective, he looks at things from a larger frame. For Krishna, there's so many lives out there, millions and millions of living entities, going through millions of births and deaths. But for Krishna, everything it's just like it gets over in the blink of an eye for him. But for the devotees, they are currently involved in that situation. And that's why they understand the importance of this. They understand that it is necessary for us to get ourselves to escape from this entanglement of the cycle of birth and death. And they understand that these people out there are suffering. Krishna may see from a larger time frame, but then for us, we understand that yes, this is this one life we've got, and we are able to escape from it by taking up this process of self-realization or God-realization. So that is why devotees are more compassionate. So we see that, but we are currently experiencing from our perspective, it's like a million, our perspective, it is one life, one very long life, and we do our best to use this one life to get out of it. So that's what the devotee's mood is like. Devotees identify with these conditioned souls, and so Prabhupada is saying that these devotees, they somehow or other, making arrangements to bring these people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Devotees somehow or other, they want to bring people to a platform where they will naturally perform devotional service. Just like, they want to instill that kind of faith in people that devotional service just becomes like air or water. You cannot exist without it. So that's the stage that the devotee must reach, a practitioner must reach. It must be just like the air and water that we have. It must be, we must maintain a mood where this is essential, this is the most important thing in our life. And that is what the devotee wants to instill, that faith, that's the faith that the devotee wants to instill in these living entities. So pure devotional stage is a stage where devotee is with Krishna. He is living in great happiness with Krishna, and it is at that stage that a person can show true compassion. Krishna consciousness is the platform where a person, an entity can show true compassion. Everything else that we see in this world is not compassion. Taking care of animals or engaging in charity or philanthropic work or any form of social work, we may considered as compassion, but that is not true compassion according to scriptures. Giving the living entity a permanent solution to this cycle of birth and death, that is compassion. Giving them a permanent solution. So that is what the devotees do. Compassion is a very rarely attained quality in this material world. Where does compassion exist? It's very rare. We rarely see true compassion in this world. The best example that we have of a very compassionate person is His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who dedicated his life just to serve the people, and every drop of his, he gave it just for the service of Krishna. At such a ripe age, like who would go out into this material world, especially to the USA at the age of 70, just to, deliver this knowledge of self-realization and God consciousness. Like, when imagine yourself retired, you were at 60 or 70, you would want to sit at home and just enjoy your retirement life. But then Prabhupada knew the importance of this process of Krishna consciousness, about God realization. And that is why he crossed the sea, he went to America, and he knew that once the Americans get to know about the process of Krishna consciousness, when they take it up, then the Indians will observe this, and then they will, get back to that old culture of devotional service. And that is why Prabhupada, invested his entire life. On his deathbed also, you must have seen videos of Prabhupada where on his deathbed also he was reciting the purpose of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is a true devotee, a true compassionate person. Even at the last stages of his life, he is ready to benefit the people of this world. And that is true compassion. That is the definition of compassion. Compassion means to forget all about oneself and just work for the ultimate benefit of others. So for us to develop a compassion mentality, it is not easy because, like we discussed, we are all self-centered. We are worried about our own activities, sadly. And in this age of Kali, it is almost impossible. It's quite hard to perform devotional service because we are only concerned about our own benefits. Hence, it is almost impossible to develop compassion. So this verse is it's emphasizing on the concept of compassion. Our devotee is like truly compassionate, and how his only aim in life is to deliver the fallen living entities. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very important shloka. Prayinalpa parisha sabhya kala asmin yuge janaha mandaha sumandamateyo manda bhagyakya upadritaha. So here it is said that, O learned one, in this age of Kali, men always almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So these are the qualities of people of this age of Kali. They are quarrelsome, they are lazy, misguided, unlucky, and they are always disturbed. So these are the qualities these are qualities that you must have come across. So we are always disturbed. That's one of the most important qualities that we have. We are always disturbed, always concerned about what is happening around us, what is happening to us. That is the continuous state of this age of Kali. It's the phrase, the term here, upadritaha, always disturbed. So that is one of the most important qualities of people who are entangled in this material world. So how to rise above such conditioning of self-centeredness? It is by the process of Krishna consciousness. All scriptures point to the same fact. God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, developing the mode of service. That is the only way by which a person can rise from this platform of ignorance. Sankirtan movement, the process of reaching out to others and giving this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, that is true compassion. So this is a process by which we can really bring about a change to this world. So this is the greatest quality for devotee, giving around love of Godhead to everyone. That is the greatest quality that any person in this world can have. And the best part of this is that by giving away whatever knowledge we have, we are getting more. So that is the mercy of Krishna. The more knowledge we give to the world, the more we get. So that is the merciful knowledge of Krishna. More and more we give, the more and more we get. And that should be really motivating. The more we get, then the more we can spread this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So that is the principle of the movement. By giving, we receive more. And otherwise, it is very difficult to take up welfare work and for the benefit. It is really difficult to rise above this nature of self-centeredness. So, going to this sloka, somehow or other, we remain connected to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire, Srila Prabhupada's desire to distribute transcendent knowledge to others, then we are getting great benefit and great relief from the onslaught of this Kali Yuga. Small-minded people are only concerned about um, their own little world. So to rise above that, to go beyond this little world of ours, must be our real desire. So we must grow and see that we are not just meant to take care of ourselves, but we are meant to take care of the people all around the world. That is our true duty, to adopt the welfare of the world. And when we are living in that spirit of giving everything for the welfare of the world, then we attain more bliss. So then our life becomes more exciting. So our own little struggles may be there in life, but once we take up to this process of Krishna consciousness, automatically all our struggles go to the background. They all, Krishna automatically, by His mercy, everything goes to the background. It is just like, there's a sloka which says, it is just like crossing the hoof print of a calf. It is so easy. Krishna makes it so easy to cross over this material struggle that we have. It just goes in the background, and all that we can do is focus our efforts in making this world a better place. So that is the main point explained by Prabhupada, to be compassionate. Compassion means to forget about ourselves and focus on the welfare of other people. So this is because of it is because of modes of nature that we have become so corrupt. So many things are happening. We are swept away in different directions because we are controlled by these modes of nature. And so processes like chanting the Hare Krishna mantra that we keep chanting. You must all heard about the Hare Krishna mantra. We chant. We follow the four regulative principles. The four regulative principles. One of you can.
Yeah, no illicit relations, and no intoxication, no gambling.
No meat eating.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so very nice. So these are the four regulative principles: no illicit relationships, no gambling, no meat eating, no intoxication. So just following these four regulative principles, taking up the simple process of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, a very important mantra from the scriptures, and performing devotional service. These are the important steps that we can take to transcend from this mode of ignorance. So these processes, they help detach the mind from all these sense objects of us, and then we can redirect our mind towards the higher goal, the higher purpose of this existence of our mind. But the mind is preoccupied by wanting to enjoy the objects of this material nature, and that's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aprameyam itaswanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yedam jarite jagat. So Krishna tells, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises of the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Yayedam, Krishna uses this term, Yayedam Dharate Jagat, to exploit the material world for our own sense enjoyment. So then the mind becomes absorbed in these things, and then they get obsessed with these activities, these material activities, and then they start distancing themselves from the reality, the higher purpose of this life. Day by day, just by associating with these unnecessary activities, we keep distancing ourselves from the true goal of life. And that's why Krishna says in this verse that ignorant people fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. So it's not possible to expect people to directly come to this process of Krishna consciousness. So we create different ways in which we can bring these ignorant, suffering souls slowly to this platform of devotional service by engaging them in the chanting of the mantras, the Hare Krishna mantra, like we said, prasadam. Give them prasadam, whatever is possible by you. Give them some prasadam. Engage them in sankirtan. Give them spiritual knowledge. Make them come over to the temple. Take darshan of the Lord. A little bit of they can attend the aarti, offer some flowers to the Lord. You want to go more deeper, you can offer tulsi leaves. So this way, little by little, we engage the people in devotional service. And then hopefully one day there will be a time when the entire world will be Krishna conscious. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this message of Krishna consciousness will reach to every corner, every town and village of this world will know the name of Lord Chaitanya. And that should be the mission of every person who wants to transcend to that platform of complete spiritual perfection. So this is just all that I have for now. Please forgive me if I have offended anyone in any way. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.